You do? What the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and the hero of Rome wants to show you a battle he had as Empire versus Skaven. He was expecting that infantry busting build that I showed you a while back with the 2 plague furnaces and the screaming bell, and instead he got something a little different, but nonetheless his army will be interesting. He's got 2 Outriders with grenade launchers, 2 regular Outriders, a couple of flagellants, silver bullets, and then a lot of cavalry. He's got the Altdorf Griffites, Zentler's Reichsguard, and I believe just a standard Reichsguard over here as well. And the Zentler's Reichsguard can forward deploy, or Vanguard deploy, I should say. He's got a Light Wizard and a General of the Empire on the Griffin, and over here the Royal Altdorf Griffites. So the Skaven have a crap load of Skaven slave slingers, which these guys don't do a ton of damage in and of themselves, but in numbers like this, they can certainly be annoying. Then you got Clan Rats, Skaven Slaves. The main line is going to be Plague Monks, which is probably a solid choice versus Empire for the most part, with some Rat Ogres to provide some armor piercing. And then he's got a Warp Lightning Cannon for range and anti-large. There is a Doom Wheel, and then his Lord is going to be Skrolk. And Skrolk can be deceivingly challenging to kill sometimes because of his abilities, and depending on whether he's used right. Way back in the back, he's got a Death Runner coming up, so it's going to take it a while. Immediately, the Empire player is going to try and put a lot of pressure on this flank over here because I guess he feels like it's slightly exposed, but the Warp Lightning Cannon's going to lay down some really nice fire, as are the Slave Slingers. And here comes some Flagellants, so attacking in 3 prongs here. The Zentler's Reichsguard doesn't actually get that great of a charge because they're chasing a unit that's running away. The charges versus fleeing missile units are actually kind of screwed up. It's something that CA probably needs to address. Rat Ogres coming over here to support. This is a great place for them. So all of a sudden, this fight for the Empire is not really going to be a good place to be in life. Over here, the Light Wizard and the General of the Empire come down, and then the Altdorf Griffites are charging in, though they just took a nasty hit. Fortunately for them, it didn't kill anything. The Doom Wheel actually gets mismicroed amidst all of the craziness, and it's going to get netted, and Silver Bullets have a perfect line of sight. And then look at this net. It also sets up this other Outrider with grenade launchers perfectly to just start laying down grenades in the middle of the nets. So now this Outrider with grenade launcher has the best case scenario it could really ever hope for. So it's going to be a big ball of enemies ready to just have grenades rained all over them. So yeah, they're going to rack up some kills. They've already got 19 just from a couple of volleys. Yeah, so that blob ended up working out really nice for the Empire. Meanwhile, the General of the Empire is going to get loose and going to do some fighting against the Warp Lightning Cannon here, which is definitely a target that they need to remove from the battlefield because that Warp Lightning Cannon will do tremendous damage. It already has. It's killed quite a few cavalry and forced an attack, basically. So here comes a couple of regrouped Reichsguard. Should do a lot of damage charging into these Plague Monks. However, this sneaky Death Runner is only going to just now become visible to the Empire player, and it's going to be too late for him to run away with these Silver Bullets because of the stalk ability on the Death Runners. So there you can see them start trying to run, but they're in trouble. Over here there was kind of a mass rout due to the terror of the Griffites and the General, and the Outriders and Griffites are running down the fleeing units because they're relatively close to the edge of the battlefield, so this is a pretty smart move. Run all those Skaven units off the battlefield. Over here there's an attempt to save the Silver Bullets, but just too late. The Death Runners are too fast, and the Silver Bullets were too exposed there, and so they get killed. Over here on this flank, things did not go so well for the Empire. The Rat Ogres combined with Plague Monks and Skaven Slave Spears to beat down the Reichsguard that attacked them. General of the Empire is going to get over here and try and do some work. I would be careful that you're going to have Liber Bubonicus from Skrolk, which means that the General of the Empire is going to have to... Yeah, there it goes, I think. Nope. It's a Charm Shield, never mind. There's something different. So yeah, see the grenade launchers chasing the artillery off the field. Same thing with the other Outriders. So Royal Altdorf Griffites out here, again, chasing, routing units. They can cause terror. You can see them terrifying stuff. Get all those units off the battlefield. Definitely a good choice. And you can see here the grenade launchers chasing these units. The Rat Ogres are about the only thing that you could chase the grenade launchers with. I don't know that they would catch them, and if they get singled out, they'll get killed. more units getting singled out, and you can see to avoid that, the Skaven player is now regrouping. So he's trying to get all of his units close together. Over here, the Griffites get caught in a strange charge, and they're going to end up fighting quite a few Plague Monks and Spears while being shot by Slingers. This is going to definitely take away some of their hit points. They'll win the fight, but it's going to eat away at their hit points. So Griffites should do okay there. These Flagellants are going to regroup and attack the Plague Monks. Flagellants are unbreakable, so that might be a fight that they'll do well in. Meanwhile, again, the routing troops over here going to be given the boot, chased off the battlefield. Then over here, the Griffites running after the Slingers. They terrified the Clan Rat Spears, and they're going to come back just next to the edge of the battlefield. And sure enough, unbreakable Flagellants were able to win over the Monks. And then the Skaven player has regrouped. If he does have Liber Bubonicus, he hasn't gotten a chance to use it yet, I don't think, on the General of the Empire. I guess it depends on whether he's healed. Yeah, he hasn't used the Liber Bubonicus yet. And I'm quite certain he has it. Yes, he does. It only gets 2 uses, and it has a 135-second cooldown, so that would have been something that would have been good to use already. I mean, maybe he used it on the Light Wizard? Can you do that? I think you could. Maybe he used it on the Light Wizard. I didn't notice earlier. So it looks like the General of the Empire is going to go ahead and come charge in here. There's Rat Ogres around, so I'm not sure this is a brilliant idea, and there's just a lot of infantry. He's going to charge into the Spears, probably to help create the blob. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Create the blob for the Outriders. Though the General does get hit with the Liber Bubonicus, and he's going to pay a dear price, because it is a painful ability to endure. It's very effective. So you can see that drained the life out of him. And now you're going to have these Plague Monks and other units wanting to chase off the cavalry, rather than being distracted. The Altdorf Griffites and some regrouped Zentler's Reichsguard are still around, so they'll be able to help tie down this blob here momentarily. Let's fast forward just a minute. This is obviously going to be a kind of a skirmishy late phase here. You can see the grenade launchers and Outriders kind of working down the Slingers. Remember, though, 135 seconds, you're going to get another Liber Bubonicus, so the Empire player, the timer up here still says it's going to go for a while. The Empire player is going to have to be careful. But nice use of the skirmish cavalry here, just letting them fire in from afar, use up all their ammunition, and then the Griffites and the General of the Empire should be able to finish the job. The Skaven player is blobbing up because of the attacks from the General of the Empire, but blobbing up makes him vulnerable to the grenades. He's really in a lose-lose scenario at this point because he can't catch the Outriders. And if he splits up, he'll get picked apart by the General of the Empire and the Griffites, and if he sticks together, he's going to get exploded by grenades. So, puts him in a bad spot. These high mobility armies definitely can be a tough thing for Skaven to deal with, and I would say are definitely one of the recommended ways that you can help deal with Skaven armies, like the one that I showed you previously that was very difficult to defeat. It becomes a good way to defeat them is to get a lot of mobility and the ability to skirmish and hit and run, because that one army I showed you was a rush army. This one was not, but in any case, the Empire player did a good job of playing on the Skaven weaknesses here, which was that certain pockets of Skaven units were singled out. One was not destroyed, the other was decisively destroyed, and kind of created the break that the Empire needed to pick apart the rest of the Skaven army. Definitely feel like the Skaven player, I don't know what happened to the Liber Bubonicus early on. If it was used on the Light Wizard, I think it was probably misused, because the Light Wizard is definitely a threat. But the General of the Empire causes terror, as does the Royal Altdorf Griffites. Those two units would want to be priority for the Skaven in terms of getting them off the battlefield, because without that terror, it's still a lot harder for the Empire to do their job. So as we watch here, we're going to see these units just, get bombed, hit and run kind of stuff. 145 kills on these Outriders with grenade launchers, very nice. These two Outriders are out of ammo. They didn't get a ton of kills. Outriders usually don't. But the grenade launcher ones are capable of getting quite a few kills. 80 over here. They're being chased by a Clan Rat unit. Should just be a matter of time really here, though. Yeah, we're seeing the general combine with the grenade launchers here. Plague monks being picked apart. Clan rat spears are now routing so they can be run down by this outrider that's out of ammo. The Griffites are now ready to come join the fight, so definitely bad news for Skaven. He's going to summon a clan rat. And I'm not seeing a second use of the Bubonicus, so maybe used earlier, or maybe still... I don't think it's still recharging. I think it's just that he must have used the first use of it earlier, or he's just failing to use it right now. Alright, this unit's now out of ammo, so a lot of the Outrider units are out of ammo. But nice patient play here by the Empire to get all those units, you know, run out of ammo. No need to get overly hasty. Balance bar still shows fairly balanced, but I'm pretty sure if the Empire surrounds and charges, you're going to see the Skaven break. Clan rats are now out and can be chased out. So Empire playing this very patiently, very properly. The Griffites did come in and they got hit with, no, there's just some kind of debuff on them right now from probably from the Death Runners. But they managed to rout them. And then we're going to see Skrolk as the last remaining unit, and apparently Lord Skrolk likes grenades. I would think, barring that Bubonicus being available, that this would be a pretty easy kill for the General of the Empire. There are some regrouped units over here. It looks like the Death Runners regrouped and gotten a nice charge onto the Reiksguard. But I don't think they'll last too long. Yeah, Skrolk is down pretty low. That was a good charge, though. Here comes the Altdorf Griffites. They're going to charge the Death Runners. Skrolk has used Bless with Filth. There comes the General of the Empire. We'll find out soon. Rod of Corruption causes damage to combatants. It's doing some good damage to the Griffites. So Skrolk showing his late game power here. Zintler's Reiksguard's nearly dead. The Griffites took a ton of damage. But again, what he really needs right now is that Liber Bubonicus. I just don't think it's available, and Skrolk is not going to be able to fight off all this cavalry plus General of the Empire, I don't think. He's doing a good job, though. He really is. But that's going to be that. So, Pyrrhic victory for the Empire. Using the skirmishy army. Look at the kills on the Outriders with grenade launchers. Very well played. Especially considering the fact that there were so many Skaven slave slingers. I think the General of the Empire did the Hero of Rome here playing with the General of the Empire did a good job of minimizing what damage these Skaven slave slingers did to his missile cavalry, since that's what his army was really based on. And he actually got some really important shots with the silver bullets. It's not going to show it kills-wise, but they basically got rid of the Doom Wheel, which is a great trade. And they did some damage to Skrolk. Not a lot, but they did some. And then on the Skaven side, his Death Runners getting that silver bullet obviously was nice. But otherwise, you know, a lot of his units were fairly limited in what they could do because of the hit-and-run nature of this army. But a nice use of the Light Wizard to create the blob, and then using the grenade launchers to polish it off, mop it up, whatever you want to call it. So nicely played by Hero of Rome. Enjoyed that one. Hope you all enjoyed it too. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will see you soon.